Hello, hello. My name is Kirsty Mills. I am 27 and I have autoimmune hepatitis, which has actually progressed into cirrhosis. So I've had cirrhosis since I was diagnosed when I was 20. So I've been living with liver disease for 7 years now. I take a mixture of medication. I am on immunosuppressants, so I take azathioprine and steroids. I also get ultrasounds done 6 monthly, and I have banding done to get rid of some varices in my portal veins. So I'm on quite a lot of treatment, and I'm on monitoring, obviously, with various different doctors, and I have been advised as a result of all of these problems, because my white cell count is low, virtually have no immune system, and I have all these complications with my liver, that I should be shielding myself from the wider public for 12 weeks due to this COVID-19 crisis, which is quite rubbish, to be honest. As a person who I am generally quite healthy and quite active, I'm very grateful for that, considering everything that is wrong with me from a health perspective. So I tend to go out and make the most of every day, because I know how rubbish it is to be in hospital and to not be able to do anything and to be ill. So whenever I'm able to do things, I'm generally very proactive and get up and go. So this is kind of like an enforced prison sentence, but it's got to be done. So that it's just what it is, and you've just got to deal with it. So I guess this video is to try and give a bit of support to anybody out there who's going through a similar thing, and is worried or anxious, just to make them a bit more positive about the whole situation, and to share some of the advice, or some of the things that have been helping me, to potentially help somebody else. So I think the most important thing I would say that has helped me is to remain positive and to not think too far into the future. I've been very, very grateful in that I've been able to work from home. So I have a full-time job, and I'm able to work from home, and therefore keep my income, which I'm very grateful for. And I also live quite close to my family, so I've been able to rely on them to get me shopping and my medication. But at the same time, because I live on my own, it's been very helpful, because I don't have that anxiety of potentially getting the infection from somebody else. I'm truly self isolated, but have a whole flat to do this. So my sympathy goes out to anybody who is living with somebody, because it must be incredibly difficult to completely self isolate in a room, or to keep away from whoever you're living with for a long period of time. It's pretty much impractical, but I thankfully don't have that problem. So I think initially, when the whole coronavirus thing was kind of taking off, sort of middle of March, I was very, very anxious about it, very worried, very panicky, and I just felt really, it was completely out of my control. And to some extent, if I think about it too much, then I still feel that way. So I think what I find important is to try not to think about it. And as soon as I feel myself going down that sort of doomsday scenario, whereby I go in circles of, oh my goodness, what happens if blah blah blah, I just stop thinking about it, and I think, okay, focus on now. What can I do right now to make myself feel better? And it normally involves not thinking about coronavirus too much, and just concentrating on keeping well. Um, so I think that, as well, not checking in too much on the news helps me. Again, that first sort of period, I was checking in pretty much all day, every day, on the BBC website, and trying to find out the latest, like how many people were infected in Scotland, and so on and so forth. But to be honest, I think it's not helpful. I think you can't control that. You just have to let everybody else deal with that. And if you can just focus on getting yourself in a good place and making sure that you've got your food and your medications, then that's a great starting point. And try not to think too much about the wider picture and how helpless you might feel over it. And just take things a day at a time as well. I find that very helpful. Getting some kind of routine is worthwhile. I think I have that with my work. I get up, I come and have my breakfast, I have my medicines, I work, I have my lunch. There is that routine, but I think if you can build that into your day as well, that helps. Um, I have a little list that I have for everything that I want to achieve in self quarantine, so I still feel like I'm doing something productive. So examples on my list, I've got things like learning to play the guitar. My dad brought round my guitar, which I haven't actually played in about 10 years. So I've been learning some songs on that, which has been really good because that gives you something to completely focus on and to completely absorb yourself in, and it removes you from worrying about things too much. I want to read a lot of books, so I actually got a whole load of library books out just before we were put into lockdown, and I went and bought some more online, not from Amazon because I dislike Amazon, but from Waterstones. So I've got like a whole bunch of, got like so many books to get through. Look at this. I'm going to be such a well-read person by the end of this quarantine. I love reading, so that's something else that removes me from anything else that's going on. So I'll be getting through that. Also some cooking. So I have Pinch of Nom. This is a cookbook that I got for my Christmas, and I'm planning just to work my way through some of these recipes. I know that shopping is quite difficult for a lot of people, so it's very difficult to get things delivered online. There's no spaces to get delivered. I think I'm lucky because my mum can go out and get my fruit and things like that, but also keep an eye out on Facebook groups, because a lot of Facebook groups are offering support to go and help the vulnerable. So I hate calling myself vulnerable as well. I feel that's something that I associate with somebody who's like 86 and not 27, but it is what it is. Look out for Facebook groups who are offering to go and get your groceries. Or there's also some groups that are you can pay for baskets with lots of different fresh food to come and be delivered to your doorstep, which is another really helpful thing that I've done. Cleaning. I know that sounds boring, but I love cleaning. It's so productive and you feel so good after it. Plus you have a nice clean house. So I've been attacking my wardrobe, trying to organise my wardrobe, cleaned out my kitchen. So it's going to be an absolute paradise at the end of these 12 weeks if I don't re-mess it up on the way, which will probably happen. I think it's really important for people who have liver disease and are on steroid medication in particular to maintain their fitness and their activity levels. And it is really, really tempting to just sit at home and go and read a book or go and watch Netflix. But I think it's really, really important, even more so now that we're not supposed to be going outside for any exercise, that we keep active and maintain our muscle strength and our bone density as well. So as well as taking vitamin D, because obviously I'm not going out into the sun, I have also been trying really hard to do some kind of exercise at least once a day, that's kind of involving jumping or dancing. So I've been dancing, I've been doing Joe Wicks workouts on YouTube, which are really, really good. I think they're just 20-30 minutes long. They're built for children, but I think they're great and they're just at my level. And there's also like if you YouTube fitness classes, there's a bunch of YouTube classes, Zumba workouts, yoga. There's loads of apps that you can download onto your phone if you've got a smartphone, to keep you occupied and happy. And doing exercise, which is the main thing. I also ordered some weights in, so I've got some weight to do exercises with, and just generally getting up and doing things. Trying not to sit down for too long, especially when I'm working at my desk here as well. Taking regular breaks and things like that are really important. I also I open up my windows to let some fresh air in. It's my phone, because it's nice just to get some fresh air, wakes you up a little bit. I live on my own, as I said before, and I live in a flat, so I do have to take my bins out. So technically, I break the rule to go and do that. I feel that if I do that at a quiet time when there's not many people outside, then I should be okay. And last week when I did that, I was a bit of a rebel, and I just continued on for a short walk afterwards down to the beach. But again, I'm hoping that because I'm not coming into contact with anybody, like there's literally nobody there, that the risk is still very, very low. But I'm not doing that every day. I am generally self-isolating per the book. Um, Again, from your health perspective, I think it's important to just loop in with your care team, whether that be at your hospital or if your GP has reached out to you. My GP hasn't reached out to me, but I have. I email the consultants that I work with, that look after me very, very well, from Inverness and from Edinburgh. So I've been kept in the loop there. But to be honest, like I've not been worrying too much about them not getting in contact with me, because I understand this is an incredibly busy time for them. And I think that there is a level of responsibility, from ourselves as a patient to sort of just keep abreast of the news and inform ourselves from reliable sources of information like the WHO website and BBC and the British Liver Trust website, as to what we can be doing to help ourselves. I don't always rely on the doctors doing the things for me, because they're incredibly busy people. They do a fantastic job, but you kind of have to take responsibility yourself. So I wouldn't be contacting them needlessly if I can't get the information from somewhere else that's more reliable. Yeah, so that's just a few things that I've been doing to keep myself occupied. I hope that other people have other suggestions. There's so many things. Like, I quite like my own company, so I don't actually find it too bad. And I've been FaceTiming and WhatsApping and doing virtual quizzes online and bingo online, and speaking with some friends. So I honestly don't feel like I'm very lonely at all. I'm having some kind of social connection that way. Been watching lots of things on Netflix. And yeah, just being sort of chilling. It does, if I think about it too much in the mornings, I kind of wake up and I'm like, oh God, we're in lockdown, like, oh. But then I'm like, right, okay, it is what it is. Let's just get on with it. Because there's no other alternative at the moment. So I think just trying not to worry too much about the future, just trying to focus on each day and trying to keep myself busy, has been really what I would suggest as my coping mechanisms anyway. So yeah, and to remember as well that you're not the only one that's going through this. So there are so many other people who are in similar situations to yourself, me included. So don't feel like you're the only one in the world that's really struggling. And yeah, just try and keep well, keep safe, and look after yourself.